Representatives itong si Dayan, pero sa ngayon gumagawa sila ng aksyon upang mahanap kung nasaan siya at mahingan siya ng reaksyon patungkol sa sabina, ngunit hanggang ngayon ay wala pa rin silang natatanggap na response. Para naman dito sa presensya ng high-profile inmate na si JB Sebastian, dahil sa naganap na riot sa New Bilibid Prison ay hindi ito makakadalo sa pagdinig ngayong araw. Sa ngayon ay naghahanda na ang ating mga mambabatas, ang ating mga kasamahan sa media at ilan pa sa mga testigo nga harap ngayon at inaasahan nga natin na makakarinig tayo ng dagdag na storya, dagdag na impormasyon at mga lulutang na personalidad na magdidiin sa ilang mga individual na di umano'y sangkot sa pagiging talamak ng drug trade sa New Bilibid Prison. Sa ngayon ay nakikita natin na naghahanda na yung ating mga mambabatas. Kanina napansin na rin natin yung pagpasok dito sa South Wing Annex dito nga sa Kamara, ang ating Justice Secretary na si Vitaliano Aguirre, ang ating PAO Chief na si Attorney Persida Acosta at ilan pa sa mga mambabatas. Itong House Committee on Justice ay pinamumunuan ni Representative Umali at siya rin ay nandito na sa naturang pagdinig. Ilang minuto mula ngayon ay magsisimula na itong pagpapatuloy ng congressional probe at ayon nga kay Secretary Aguirre, nakikita niya na isa o dalawang sesyon na lang ang ating kakailanganin para nga magkaroon ng airtight evidence na magdidiin sa mga personalidad na nabanggit natin kanina. At ito na po, tutukan na natin ang pagpapatuloy ng congressional probe patungkol sa illicit drug trade sa New Bilibid Prison.
Approval of the minutes of September 20 and 21, 2016 hearings is hereby deferred. May I request the COMSEC to please acknowledge the members present and likewise the resource persons and guests invited for this hearing.
Good morning. Our members present in today's hearings are as follows, and we recognize them. The Chairman of the Committee on Justice, Honorable Reynaldo Umali, Vice Chairman Vicente Ching, S.E. Veloso, Doy Leachon, Henry Owaminal, and members.
Mr. Chairman.
And also the Vice Chairman Arnulfo Fuentebella. Other members present are as follows: Honorable Lawrence Lemuel Fortun, Honorable Ramon Salo, Honorable Salvador Velaro. And we have 16 ex officio members present are as follows: Honorable Freddy Neil Castro, Deputy Speaker, and Deputy Minority Leaders Honorable Alfredo Garbin Jr., Honorable Anthony M. Bravo, Honorable Harry L. Roque, and Deputy Speaker Gwendolyn Garcia.
That's the other members. You can, hindi natin members.
Sige.
So, Your Honors, we have 17 members present.
And guest and resource person. Other members of the House as well as the resource persons and guests.
Yes, we have here Honorable Abraham Tolentino, Honorable Arnulfo Arnie Teves, Honorable Edwin Ong, Honorable Anthony Bravo, Honorable Rodante Marcoleta, Honorable Romeo Acop, Honorable Bernadette Herrera D, Honorable Raul Gonzaga, Honorable Rosano Biazon, Honorable Gary Alejano, Honorable Rocamora, and Honorable Uy Barreta. And
ating guest.
Resource persons and guests.
Nasa ilalim. Ito, ma'am.
Our invited guests who are present in this today's hearing are the following. Honorable Vitaliano Aguirre II, the Secretary of the Department of Justice. Honorable Persida Rueda Acosta, Chief Public Attorney. Honorable
Names.
Police Director Benjamin Magalong from PNP. Police Chief Superintendent Rolando Asuncion, retired OIC Bureau of Corrections. And Attorney Dante Gueran, Director of the National Bureau of Investigation. Police Chief Superintendent Benjamin Luzad, Director of PNP Special Action Force. Yusek Isidro La Peña, Attorney Rosario Sanchez Reyes, National President, Integrated Bar of the Philippines. Secretary Benjamin Reyes, Chairman of the Dangerous Drugs Board. Retired General Franklin Jesus Bucayo, former Bucor Director. And also present are Attorney Yusek Eric Balmes of the Department of Justice, Yusek Reynante Oreseo from the Department of Justice, Yusek Emmanuel Benaventura, Attorney Emmanuel Benaventura,
Isidro La Peña.
Isidro La Peña of the PIDEA, and Mr. Reginald Villasanta, former Executive Director of PAOCC.
Okay?
Yes,
Leto
that's
na?
all, Your Honor.
Kanina, the name of Congressman Rocamora was read as a Committee on Justice member. Just to correct that, he is a member of the Committee on Justice. Okay na? So, okay na? Meron pa?
Sir, okay na po.
Any personalities here who were not acknowledged, please come forward so that your names can be read into the records. Good morning, distinguished colleagues, guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the third hearing of the Committee on Justice on House Resolution number 105. First, let me thank all the members of the committee for actively participating and conducting themselves in an orderly manner throughout the proceedings. Let us continue to observe mutual respect to each other and to the resource persons and witnesses we have invited today in our search for truth to aid us in our legislative work. I am very grateful for everyone's cooperation in ensuring that this inquiry will be conducted in the most respectable manner. Please bear with us as we all together again endure the long, grueling hours because I understand there will be about 5 or 6 witnesses to be presented today. And so we expect long, grueling hours in search for truth and genuine justice for all. Let me also take the opportunity and acknowledge the PDP for heeding to the call for and upholding the high sense of decency and dignity, in that there was even a party decision no longer to pursue the video, the showing of the video, which I understand from the Department of Justice, they are also not intending to pursue it. Is that correct?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
So I also thank Department of Justice so that we can really focus on the real objective of this House inquiry, which is to really find out the truth to aid us in our legislative work. So today I would just like to know if ready na ba yung ano? Nasaan na?
Sir, phone number 5.
Are we ready?
Sir. Ito yung ano.
So, you know, as depicted by the Philippine Daily Inquirer in its editorial entitled Three Moments in the House last September 23, you know, I'm really very flattered that the editorial board of Inquirer described me as being fair and objective in chairing the most anticipated hearing in the House. As in fact, even Senator De Lima herself, in one of her interviews, described me as seemingly fair. No? So, maraming salamat po. Kanya lang, reading through the editorial made me feel sad because that was probably the only thing positive said in that editorial, Three Moments in the House of Representatives. While I respect the views of the editorial board, I wish, however, to take exception to its conclusion and instead explain why I felt and I thought that this legislative inquiry ought to be considered as three shining moments in the House. First, allowing Secretary Aguirre to ask direct questions did not necessarily mean the committee had yielded to a non-member and lost its objectivity and fairness in the conduct of this inquiry. The manner of presentation conducted by Secretary Aguirre, as I already pointed out, is not unprecedented in congressional inquiries. No less than Senator De Lima herself, when she was the Secretary of Justice then, used the same method of presenting witnesses during the Senate inquiry in the PDAF Napoles scam. Back then, Senator Drilon asked then Secretary De Lima to conduct the direct examination of witness Benhar Luy, as shown in the video clip to my right. As we have seen, the method was adopted so that the presentation of the witness and his testimony would be done in an orderly manner. In the same vein, and especially considering the sheer number of members of our committee and other members of House who wished to ask questions, we allowed Secretary Aguirre to present his witness to direct examination during the first hearing. Questions were then asked after all the members have heard the testimonies of the witnesses. This method proved to be very effective, although they seem to be very time-consuming. But during the second hearing, we simply allowed the witness to read into the records their affidavits, one by one, and thereafter we allowed questions from members of the committee. So, kumbaga sa trial po, ay yung ginawa po ni ni Secretary Aguirre was part of the direct examination. Yung interpellation ay parang cross-examination, lahat po ginawa po ng mga miyembro ng House of Representatives. So wala po kaming sinurrender na kahit ano, no, to a non-member. I would like to emphasize that it was Secretary of Justice who managed the presentation of the witnesses' testimonies because we are investigating the DOJ, the branch of government that has direct control and supervision over the Bureau of Corrections and the New Bilibid Prison. We are conducting this inquiry to determine the root cause of the problems of our national penitentiary. The witnesses that were presented were not witnesses of the committee only, but they were witnesses who approached the Secretary of Justice willing to divulge information in order to assist us in our inquiry. Thus, we cannot simply ask questions to the witness without them telling us what they know. Kung ganon ang ginawa natin, sa pag-upo pa lang ng testigo, sunod-sunod na tanong agad mula sa miyembro natin, palagay ko magulo ang ating proceeding. Just like siguro in the Senate, it was even the chair himself who was asking, sino ba nagpe-present ng witness na to? Di ba? Kanya medyo hindi po magkaintindihan sila doon, pero dito po ay malinaw po tayo yung kung ano pong ginawa natin. No? So, we did not yield to the Secretary. We allowed him under our rules to present witnesses, and I hope that yung ginawa po natin, ang pinaka-importante po ay we conducted our hearing in a very orderly fashion. And what is more important is that malinaw po sa aming miyembro kung ano po ang salaysay ng bawat isang witness. At hindi pa po nagtapos doon, malinaw po sa taong bayan na nanonood ngayon kung ano po ang storya ng bawat isa. That is what we achieve in what I call the first shining moment of the House of Representatives. Yung pangalawa naman po, sabi po ng inquirer, scripted daw. As if making us appear na we are part of the script. I would like to take exception to that. And sabi ko nga, nakita nyo naman yung demeanor ng mga witnesses. Kung sila ay over-eager, eager-beaver, or kung ano man ang tawagin natin, hindi po namin kontrolado yon. Sila po ang nagsasalita. Pero we have observed them and we will continuously observe them. Hindi pa po kami huhusga kung yung kanila bang sinabi ay scripted, prepared, whatever. At yan po ay gagawin namin as we formally submit our report to this committee for their approval, and then eventually to the plenary for approval as well, together with our legislative proposals on how we will address ito pong mga problema natin. Yung third naman po, may I just say that we invited Senator De Lima in her capacity as former Secretary of Justice to give us and clarify kung bakit nangyari po ito during her watch. No? Unfortunately, she chose not to participate, not even send a representative to our hearings, and respect this committee out of parliamentary or interparliamentary courtesy. And ano po ang repercussion niyan? She may have lost the opportunity to explain her side and even invoke her constitutional right to privacy. We are being questioned for allowing yung number at saka yung address niya. But mind you, even if Laila De Lima, Senator De Lima is my sorority sister and even my kumare, I cannot answer for her. This is her call, and kung umaten sana siya, she could have invoked that privacy rights similar to what a member of Congress, the late Iggy Arroyo, did some time ago in the conduct of a Senate inquiry on the Jose Pidal account. At that particular point in time, out of courtesy and respect to the Senate as a co-equal chamber, nagpunta po roon ang aming House member, si the late Iggy Arroyo, and timely invoked his right, that his right is being violated, his privacy rights rather, is being violated, and he was sustained by Senate. Ano? So, I hope, again, this will be, again, another shining moment in the House of Representatives, di ba? Dahil kami po, membro po namin umaatin po doon dahil out of interparliamentary courtesy and respect for a co-equal chamber. So, sa amin pong pananaw ay sana po ay maintindihan nyo yung ginagawa po namin in that light. And as we look back and make clear to the public that we indeed performed our duties while upholding the virtues of fairness, objectivity, and mutual respect. I came to realize that indeed the three moments mentioned, or 3 moments in the House mentioned by the Philippine Daily Inquirer editorial, were in reality three shining moments in the House of Representatives. And these moments, we give voice to our constituents in Congress. We make representatives of the people true to its word. And in this moment, we rise to the occasion and stand firm with the Filipino principles and values we believe in. Before we proceed with the agenda today, let me just recap what we have achieved in the committee so far. 2 hearings were conducted, both of which lasted 11 and 10 hours respectively on 20 and 21 of September. Of course, we invited Secretary Aguirre. We also invited Senator De Lima, the heads of the Bureau of Correction, PIDEA, PNP, and SAP, to give us a broad view of the problem of drug syndicates inside the New Bilibid prison. Based on all the documents we received and the testimonies that we heard, there are still some gaps that we need to fill in, questions we need to answer. We still need to find the missing links in the chain of events that prompted House Resolution 105. So, yun po yung ating ginawa. And so, we hope yung ating pong mga resource persons in today's hearing, plus the witnesses DOJ would present, would all give us all of these answers to these questions and provide us the links to all of these gaps that we're trying to piece together in conducting this inquiry. So maraming salamat po sa inyo. Let me also acknowledge the presence of our Majority Floor Leader, Manong Rudy Pariñas, Congressman Kit Belmonte, Congressman Noel Villanueva, Eugene De Vera, Randolph Ting, Joseph Paduano, Ace Barbers, and Divina Grace Yu. Maraming salamat po. At muli, tatanungin ko lang muna, kasi po, Congressman Pariñas, nung last hearing po, in response to the condition you imposed upon us so that we can conduct this hearing, sabi niyo po, pag nandyan po si JB Sebastian, ay pwede po tayo mag-conduct ng hearing. So, may I ask Secretary Aguirre to explain the absence of JB Sebastian and put into the records the reason for his absence.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, the Vice Chairman, the Majority Floor Leader, and members of the House, members of the Justice Committee. In answer to the question of Mr. Chairman, we received a letter or a first endorsement from OIC Rolando Asuncion, dated October 5, 2016, informing us on the medical condition of JB Sebastian, who we knew was involved in a stabbing incident inside the New Bilibid prison. He attached to the letter a clinical abstract on the condition of JB Sebastian, and may read for the record why he was not able to attend the hearing this morning. I quote, surgical diagnosis, pneumothorax bilateral lungs, secondary to multiple puncture stab wound bilateral chest, soft tissue contusion, hematoma, right posterior chest. The medical recommendation, I quote, patient still with bilateral chest tubes, repeat X-ray was done this morning, but still with persistent pneumothorax, hence still not advisable to have the tubes pulled out at present. This was the clinical abstract given to us by Dr. Mency Orellana, the attending physician of JB Sebastian of the Medical Center Muntinlupa Incorporated. So that this is written last October 4, 2016, Mr. Chairman, and so that's the reason why JB Sebastian is not around.
Thank you for that explanation. May I also acknowledge the presence of Minority Floor Leader Danny Suarez. So, pero what will this committee expect? Siya po ba ay maipepresenta natin soonest? We have scheduled 2 hearing dates today and tomorrow para dito madinig natin. Bukas ubay pwede siyang madala dito?
Baka po bukas ay masyadong madali pa, and besides, there's another reason why we would like to ask for the resetting of tomorrow's hearing, because we are required by the Senate to present our budget, and we are going to defend the budget. So may we request that early next week, for the next succeeding hearing, Your Honor. And perhaps we would be sure that JB Sebastian and another witness who was stabbed, Mr. Vicente C., would be around to testify.
Sige po. So, I think that is important also. Yung budget ninyo ay napaka-importante. And as a courtesy to our co-equal chamber, kailan nyo po pwedeng ipresenta po itong dalawang ito?
Pwede po Monday, October 10.
October 10. So we will reset tomorrow's hearing and reset it to Monday. Ganun pa.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Sige pa,
Thank you very much.
We'll take note of that, and anyway, the members are here and they are notified accordingly. No? So we will cancel tomorrow's hearing and reset it to Monday. Maraming salamat po.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah. With the manifestation of the good secretary, for all we know, the presentation of the witnesses for the last 2 hearings. So with today and a further date on Monday, with the absence of Mr. JB Sebastian, and for all intents and purposes, for all we know, the end result of this investigation will be for us to guide and craft vital pieces of legislation. May we just, without preempting our chair, may we be apprised of the flow of the presentation for today? How many witnesses are there for today? Sans JB Sebastian, how many witnesses, and what would be the flow of the presentation, Mr. Chair? Thank you.
Thank you for that. If this were a court of law, we would have been benefited by pre-trial, which is mandatory. Kanya lang, wala dito, and so that that request is really something that I would like to ask the secretary to give us a preview of what to expect today. How many witnesses, who will come in first, etc., etc. And then we hope that whoever will be presented today will be equally explosive, kasi sayang naman po yung ating na-achieve na kung ngayon po ay walang masyadong matibay na witness tayong ipepresenta ngayon. We hope you have considered that for today's hearing, knowing that JB Sebastian will not be presented in today's hearing. I hope meron kayong inihanda rin na kasing bigat at kasing explosive din na magiging pahayag po ni JB Sebastian. Of course, we know that Jonel Sanchez, who is under the custody of PSG, dapat nandiyan ba ang PSG? So anyway, I'll give you the floor, Mr. Secretary, to walk us through what will happen in today's hearing.
Mr. Chairman, before leaving the Sebastian matter and before the Secretary of Justice proceeds with his explanation, may this representation be advised on whether, if ever Sebastian comes to be a resource person in this proceeding, will he be coming as someone who is cooperating with the Department of Justice, or he simply comes because he is complying with the subpoena which may be issued by the Department of Justice?
May I know? Please respond to that, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Si JB Sebastian po ay up to now ay hindi pa definite yung kanyang whether he'll cooperate or whether he is going to tell the whole truth. Because previously, mayroon pong nakipag-ugnayan sa kanya at ang sabi ay nililimit niya yung gusto niyang sabihin. Doon daw lang po sa food supply anomaly na nangyayari sa Bilibid. Ang sabi ko, hindi maaari yun. Dapat kung ikay magsasalita dito, dapat sabihin mo yung buong katotohanan. So I rejected the offer to testify on some particular incident only. Kaya po dun sa katanungan ni Congressman Castro, ay wala pa pong na malinaw na kung ano ang gagawin ni Sebastian, kung magte-testify siya under the Witness Protection Program or kung bibigyan ng immunity. So, yun po ang kasagutan ko. Salamat po, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, may I request the Secretary to respond that if despite this uncertainty on whether Sebastian is coming as cooperative witness to support this proceeding or that he is simply complying with the subpoena, the Secretary of Justice is still determined to present him this coming Monday as scheduled.
With all due respect, Deputy Speaker, that is not his call, that is our call. We have already directed the Department of Justice to bring him in, whether or not he cooperates with the Department of Justice. So I hope that settles the issue.
Therefore, despite that uncertainty, the committee is downright decided to call him this coming Monday.
We already said that. That is very clear, yes. So anyway, can
Mr.
you
Chairman,
please proceed?
Mr. Chairman, please. Mr. Chairman, may I be allowed to address the Secretary? I just want to ask a few questions.
Can we first proceed because we want to avail of the initial hours to really already start with the presentation of the witness.
Just one question, Mr. Chairman.
So may I know the point of Your Honor?
Then let me just ask the question. Is the Secretary aware that the lawyer of JB Sebastian made a press statement that he is not testifying because he believes his testimony will be inconsistent with the rest of the witnesses that had just been presented?
Okay, so perhaps we will go through that
If he is aware.
When the matter is already brought to the attention. In the meanwhile, there was a prior query from the Vice Chair, the Honorable Liachon, which I guess need to be first responded to by the Secretary of Justice. Please proceed, Secretary.
May I now proceed, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Minority Floor Leader. Ang flow po ng ating witnesses, ang unang ipipresenta namin ay si Jonel Sanchez. Ang pangalawa is Ingelberto Durano. The third one is Nonilo Arile. Fourth is Jerry Valeroso. The fifth is Ferdinand Marcelino. And sixth, Rafael Ragos. Yan po ang lineup ng witnesses na nakahanda ngayon. Although meron pa rin ibang witnesses na kung sakaling madali tayong matatapos and committee needs witnesses, ay meron pa rin po tayong nakahandang ibang testigo.
Mr. Chair?
Pakiulit lang po ulit.
Sanchez, Durano, Arile, Valeroso, Marcelino, Ragos. Arile, Valeroso,
Marcelino and Ragos.
Marcelino, and Ragos.
Mr. Chair? Mr. Chair? Mr. Chair? Yeah, as we understand, Mr. Rafael Ragos, is he the one who was the former OIC of the Bureau of Corrections, right? As Mr. Secretary?
Mr. Chairman, si
Yes, please.
Mr. Rafael Ragos, ay siya rin po yung nag-testify noong first day of hearing.
So is he called for the
And
second time right now,
He's
Secretary?
being called for the second time because he opened up a little and executed a supplemental affidavit.
By the way,
which-
Mr. Chair, is the supplemental affidavit already submitted to the committee?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you,
Anyway,
thank you.
at the proper time, let me just remind the Secretary of certain rules that we have to follow, that all of their testimonies must be germane to House Resolution 105 and not extraneous. No? Kung yan po ay hindi nararapat, baka anuhin po natin yan. Ano. Anyway, we will request and we will require you to make a proffer of what these witnesses will have to say. So anyway, for the meanwhile, what is your pleasure with respect to these witnesses who have not been granted immunity? Meron ba kayong plano dyan?
Opo,
Are
some
they willing to
witnesses,
testify with or without immunity?
some witnesses, opo, yung na hindi pa nabibigyan ng immunity ng House, ay hihingi po kami ng immunity. Although not all witnesses which we are going to present ay hihinga namin o will recommend the grant of immunity.
Sino po yung hihingan nyo? Kasi you said we will start with Sanchez, and then Durano. Sino po ang hihingan dito? Because we cannot even proceed with them without the committee voting upon it, and then the speaker approving our recommendation thereto.
Yung pong 5, 6 po yung minensyon ko, 5, pero nabigyan natin ng si Rafael Ragos ng previous immunity, so siguro hindi na kinakailangan. So, except for Ragos and Jonel Sanchez, all the others we will request for immunity.
Okay, so similar to our procedure in the last 2 hearings, can the Secretariat please do the needful to obtain? Before that, may I request the committee to determine what would be the pleasure of the members insofar as the grant of immunity of Sanchez, Durano, Arile, Valeroso, and Marcelino.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Majority Floor.
we have just been handed these 5 affidavits and we have not gone over them. May we be given time to read them to determine if their testimonies are necessary and whether the grant of such immunity is likewise necessary. Kasi po, baka bigay ng immunity ito. Hindi naman kailangan. So, pwedeng basahin muna natin ito. How can we intelligently make a motion to grant immunity to these resource persons if we have not even read their testimony? Baka naman, there is nothing that will incriminate them. Ano ba yung nature ng testimony? So, I move that we suspend for a few minutes and go over the affidavits before we can make that motion intelligently.
Mr. Chairman,
Thank you for that. Yes.
before we suspend the roll, this is just in relation to the witness Colonel Marcelino. Before we will recommend for the granting of immunity, may we know if what is the status of the pending case, or the case of witness Marcelino with our regular court for transparency and guidance to this committee?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman,
the good secretary
May-
could
Mr.
make a
Chairman.
response to my inquiry.
May I respond, Mr. Chairman? Yung pong case ni Colonel Marcino before the RTC of Manila is suspended. The hearing is suspended.
And do you think, Mr. Secretary, is it proper or appropriate to present him as witness in these proceedings with his case still pending with the regular court? As you said, it is, even if its proceeding is being suspended.
Opo, wala naman pong nagbabawal na pag may case involving a witness ay hindi siya maaaring ipresenta. So I believe that we could validly present as long as his testimony, the testimony of Colonel Marcelino is
Thank you for that.
relevant.
Anyway, it will be the committee that will rule upon whether we will recommend this to the speaker, and it is always subject to the approval of the speaker. Anyway,
Mr. Speaker,
so-
just clarification. Is Mr. Marcelino also being recommended as to be given testimonial immunity by the good secretary?
Mr. Chairman, opo, gusto po niyang mabigyan siya ng immunity.
Hindi, kayo po ang tinatanong. Ang department po ba is predisposed to recommending him to be granted immunity?
Yung lamang pong sasabihin niya dito before the House. So, we will recommend immunity, Mr. Chairman.
Anyway, titingnan naman po natin. There is a request for suspension. Any more?
Mr. Chairman, before we suspend, now,
Congressman?
Let me just comment on the statement of the good secretary on who will he bringing here to testify before this committee. Remember, Mr. Chairman, we have a compulsory processes wherein we determine witnesses, invite witnesses through a subpoena, whether they're indispensable in the effective conduct of the proceeding of this committee. And so I would recommend, Mr. Chairman, whether it be cooperative or non-cooperative, as long as we can, as you have said, mapagdugtong natin yung missing link of the chain of events. Whether it be cooperative or non-cooperative, as to them, we should invite them by virtue of our compulsory processes, Mr. Chairman.
Let us also be guided by the desire of the speaker to end this soonest. Sabi nga niya, one hearing lang, pero I think that is not possible. So we in the committee are looking at 2 more hearings, and then we will terminate so that we can already formulate our report, including our recommendation. So,
Mr. Chairman.
Sampo.
Mr. Chairman, good
Sige,
morning. Yeah, tanong ko lang, yung grant ng immunity, other than kaninong request, kaninong decision yan? Because halimbawa,
Kay
sabi
Speaker
ng...
po. Kay Speaker.
Okay.
We recommend, we vote kung majority will recommend that these people be granted immunity, then we elevate the matter for approval to the Speaker. But at the same time, we also need the recommendation from the Department of Justice, and that is the process.
Kaya tinanong ko, Mr. Chairman, dahil kung sinabi ng DOJ na hindi dapat bigyan, sabay nag-request yung witness, anong mangyayari? Just
Ano
to
yan?
clarify. For example, the DOJ does not recommend that he be given immunity, but the witness wants to have
Depende.
immunity. What happens?
Depende
Just a
po,
question. Okay.
depende po sa
Para lang
magiging,
klaro, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Depende, ultimately sa atin po yun, pero
Dito rin ang, at the end, ito yung last say, yung
hindi po,
committee na.
babalik din po sa kanila yan kasi most likely baka magkakaso. Pag nagkakaso, sila naman ang under the WPP, ay babalik din uli sa kanila yan for immunity from prosecution.
Lastly, Mr. Chairman, to be clear, yung immunity kailangan magsabi sila ng lahat, di ba? Pag merong kulang, pwede na mawala yung immunity.
That is the condition of the speaker always, that that is conditioned upon him telling the truth and complete at that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
So
Mr.
before
Chairman.
we proceed,
Mr.
may I
Chairman.
just acknowledge the presence of Honorable Bertiz and Chairperson Ann Hopper of the Education Committee.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, there is a pending motion to suspend
Before-
the roll.
One last final.
Just
One
one.
last final.
This clarification relative to the immunity, coverage of the immunity. In fact, this was raised during last hearing by no other than Honorable Lawrence Portun, and there was a commitment from the Secretary to clarify this issue. And may I read on the page 10 that, and I read in toto. Honorable Porton explained that he raised the question in the early part of the hearing if the immunity covers statement made by the witness which could be used against him in any proceedings. He said that he strongly feels that the immunity covers only admission or statements that are self-incriminatory. It does not apply to statements made by another witness that are incriminating against another witness. As for his opinion on the matter, Secretary Aguirre asked for a few days so that he could ask the State Council to render an authoritative opinion on the matter. So, Mr. Chair, may we be clarified on this issue so that we'll be guided accordingly.
Hindi pa ba natin na-tackle yan, Kong Bravo? Kasi I think in two disquisitions of former Justice Ching Veloso, parang na-cover na natin yan eh. So, do we need another explanation for this hearing? Anyway, read into the records, read the records of previous committee hearings, and you may find the answer to that.
Thank you,
Anyway,
Mr. Chairman.
salamat po. No? So, I think hindi na natin sususpend. More than 5 minutes na yung mga questions. Kanya, I think the members had already gone over this affidavits, no? But before that, may I ask the COMSEC to make an announcement?
We would like to announce that the Secretariat has opened the Villar Hall just across this room, provided with audio monitor for the staff of our House members and of our resource persons. Thank you.
Okay, so may I know if the secretary had already made the necessary request, officialize it, and then whether the secretariat has already started processing this. Sino po ba yung so ito pong 5 ay hihingan nyo ng immunity?
Immunity. Yun lang po siguro 4 kasi meron na si Director Ragos.
Hindi, 5. Sanchez, Durano.
Si Sanchez, ay, we are not yet inclined to give. To ask
So
for
hindi
immunity.
kasama si Sanchez. Durano, Arile, Valeroso, and Marcelino.
Opo, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so the secretary, I
Mr. Chair?
I hope we're ready.
Before we'll proceed, can we hear a few remarks from the head of the PDEA, Director General Lapina, as they are the complainant in this case of Colonel Marcelino, on their position whether or not to grant legislative immunity in the testimony of Colonel Marcelino before this committee.
Yusek La Peña is recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Your Honors. The case is now with the Department of Justice, and for as long as the statement that he will be issuing is pertaining to this case, and it will not be it will not affect the case at hand with the Department of Justice, Your Honor, but that will be okay with us.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman,
Please,
we
Your
would
Honor.
like to know if this Marcelino has executed an affidavit. Kasi sa records namin, wala kaming records. Wala kaming kopya sa affidavit niya.
Meron ba kayong sinubmit sa amin?
And we are talking about legislative immunity
You are
for
required
him.
to submit to us 2 days before per our rules. No? So, alam ko, Attorney Acosta, you came to my office, you wanted this, you gave it to us, and then you withdrew it. So, I don't know what happened next. No? So, will you please clarify? Kasi I think you're the one really pushing for Colonel Marcelino to be part of this inquiry and now to be given immunity. So you are recognized to explain your points on this matter.
Your Honor, with due respect, I am not pushing anybody to testify. Every witnesses presented and will be presented by the department have voluntarily executed their affidavit before the public attorneys have took their oath.
Okay. So anyway,
every affidavit, Your
please,
Honor.
no? We have heard you. We don't need further explanation. You say that you don't, you are not carrying him. No. So now, Mr. Secretary, may we hear from you, because this is a matter that is required under our rules, and we seem to have not received the affidavit of Marcelino. So we will be hard put making a recommendation on this without us having even seen whatever he has to testify on, and whether this is germane to the purpose of House Resolution 105. So are you still pursuing immunity for this particular witness?
Mr. Chairman, with respect to the affidavit of Colonel Marcelino, I was told that the same was transmitted to the House yesterday together with the other affidavits of the other witnesses. So I believe that it nandyan lang yan, baka na-misplace lang, but to the question as to whether we are still going to ask for immunity, we answer in the affirmative, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair,
Okay.
can we ask, kasi wala ko kaming kopya, can we ask the gist of the testimony of this Colonel Marcelino? Can you brief us? What are those to be testified to by this Colonel Marcelino?
Mr. Chairman, kung merong nangangailangan, because it was transmitted to the House yesterday, we could still furnish the members.
Okay, Mr. Secretary, please do so. But perhaps what we will do is we will defer action on that. Majority Floor Leader, may I know if you asked for a 5-minute suspension, but we did not pursue it anymore. But may I know the pleasure of the members on the request for immunity of 5 witnesses to be presented by Department of Justice?
Mr. Chair, I move to grant them immunity, to recommend that this committee recommend to the Speaker that the 5 be granted
I thought
immunity.
the query was addressed to me.
Sorry.
I hear somebody answering for me.
No, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, while I went to different lawyer members and I asked them to review the affidavits of particular members, and it seems that, and I told them that if they find anyone whose testimony is not needed here, then they would properly inform the committee. So I withdraw my motion because I've already tasked several members to handle them. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Let's go through this one by one. Any motion to grant immunity For witness Durano.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Any second? The matter has been moved and seconded. So in the case of Durano, we recommend the grant of immunity for this particular witness. We go now to Arile.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Any second? It has been moved and seconded. Recommendation for grant of immunity for Arile is approved. Valeroso?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
It has been any objection?
May I object, Mr. Chair? Mr. Chair, may I object?
What is the objection, Your Honor?
If we read the affidavit of Police Senior Superintendent Jerry Valeroso, it is dependent on his informal asset within. So, parang hearsay ito. And if you read also the testimony, his testimony that the illegal drug trade in the NPP is still alive has been already testified by all the other witnesses that we have had in the past hearing, Mr. Chair. So, I object. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So there is an objection. We divide the House and vote upon whether to recommend or not the grant of immunity to Valeroso. So may I request members
Chair.
who are voting
Mr.
for...
Chair, may I add another? Police
Please.
Senior Superintendent Jerry Crisostomo Valeroso is a member of the Philippine National Police and therefore a law enforcer. Under Section 3 of the Witness Protection Program, they're not supposed to be included insofar as the law is concerned, Mr. Chair.
What do you say of that, Mr. Secretary? There is a limitation on the
Point
law?
of order, Mr. Chairman. Under the law, the witness should ask for it. Is Valeroso asking for it? Is he here?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. He is asking for it. And the materiality of this witness, the testimony of this witness, is that siya po ang, ito pong si Durano, kanyang asset. Siya ang intel officer. So, pag inalis mo yung isa, mapuputol yung ugnayan in connection with the information given to him by Arile. Kaya ang sasabihin lang naman po niyan ay siya talaga ang intel officer, yung handler ni Mr. Arile. Kaya hindi naman masyadong makakasira kung kanino man except to prove that he is the handler of Arile. So, I think very kwan lang yan, maiksi lang yan. So, we request that he be given, he be allowed to testify.
Mr. Chair, may I say something?
Please.
For the information of the Honorable Secretary, if you say that a person is an asset, insofar as an operation is concerned, there are documents. May I know from the good Secretary if Police Senior Superintendent Valeroso has asked his asset to sign documents pursuant to the rules and procedures of action agents for them to be able to work as action agents in an operations plan.
Please clarify.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Actually, yun nga po ang dapat natin, kaya dapat mag-testify siya para malamin natin from the horse's mouth himself kay Mr. Valeroso kung mayroong ganun o wala. Kaya pag hindi ninyo pinatestifayan, hindi natin malalaman yung katanungan.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, considering that Superintendent Valeroso is an active member of the PNP and his superior is here, the Director General Ronaldo de la Rosa, can we hear his view on that matter insofar as the grant of immunity of this witness is concerned?
We acknowledge the presence of Director General Ronaldo Bato de la Rosa. Please respond to that.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Your Honor. Mr. Chair. Your Honor, I think I'm not sure, but we are not entitled to that immunity, Your Honor. I'm not so sure, Your Honor. I will research, Your Honor.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, according to the Secretary of the DOJ, this Crisostomo Baliroso will testify only to the fact that he has an asset in the name of Arili. So why is there a need of a legislative immunity if that is the only fact to be proved by the testimony of this Crisostomo Baliroso? There is nothing incriminating there.
Okay, Mr. Chair.
And moreover, Mr. Chair, if I still have the floor, as we hear the position of his superior, that it appears that it is the duty of any active officer of the PNP in any proceedings in any government agency. So that means it is his duty. Therefore, if it is his duty, then he is properly protected by the law.
Mr. Chair.
May we hear from Vice Chairman Veloso for final words on this.
Mr. Chairman, we have a principal resource person here, the Secretary of Justice. It is he who determines who should be our witnesses here. Being a witness is one thing. Being covered by the Witness Protection Program is another. I don't think anybody of us here can stop the DOJ Secretary from saying that this witness is important in their presentation of the facts before us. On the question of whether or not he should be covered by immunity, whether or not we should seek the permission of the Secretary, that is altogether another matter. In fact, that is a legal question that I don't think we are prepared to
Thank you.
resolve.
Thank you, Vice Chair. So now, may we now resolve this issue? There is the parliamentary status is that there was a motion, there was an objection. So what is the pleasure of the members? Only the members and ex officio officers can vote. Other non-committee members cannot. No? So may I ask, to properly reflect the decision of this committee, may I ask regular members and ex officio officers who wish to recommend favorably the grant of immunity for Valeroso to please rise. Stand up, stand up. In favor, in favor of the immunity, clarification, those who are in favor of recommending the grant of immunity to witness Valeroso to please stand up. Pakibilang, pakibilang. Hindi ako pwedeng bumoto eh.
6 members.
Only to break a tie.
6 members.
6 members had been counted. Those who are against the grant of immunity for Valeroso to please stand up. Ilan? So, I'm sorry, Your Honor, Mr. Secretary, that there are 13 votes against it, so we cannot recommend his grant of immunity to the Speaker for approval.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Can I just...
Minority Leader.
Notwithstanding the validity of the voting, I just would like to find out, those who voted are
members,
bona fide
members and
members?
ex-officios. Yeah, only.
And that was checked by the Secretariat?
Okay, so we now go to the last witness, sino ito? Who is being requested that he be granted immunity, Marcelino.
So move, Your Honor.
Any second? Any objection? Okay, objection. Please First, Chairman Ace Barbers of the Dangerous Drugs Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, it's just some sort of an inquiry to be addressed to the good secretary. I was.
But
This
please
is an
lay the
objection.
objection.
This is an objection,
Okay.
but I was just premising my statement on that inquiry towards the secretary. I am not sure what is the status of the MR that was filed by the DOJ against the involvement of Colonel Marcelino in the raid of a Shabu laboratory in 2014. No? If ever the committee grants the immunity to Colonel Marcelino, I don't know how it would affect the case of Colonel Marcelino in the DOJ. And on a second point, Mr. Chairman, I have not even received a copy of the affidavit of Colonel Marcelino. So, to me, and I'm sure the sense of the majority of the members of this committee, would first study, read, and look into the affidavit before granting of an immunity to Colonel Marcelino. So in that case, in that light, Mr. Chairman, I move that we object to the granting of immunity to Colonel Marcelino. I so move, Mr. Chairman.
I second the objection of the Honorable Barbers.
So,
Mr. Chair,
it has
to-
been moved and seconded. Before we will rule on this, are you objecting to...
I'm withdrawing my earlier motion for the time being, just to facilitate today's hearing, Your Honor.
Okay.
Anyway, we will have a second hearing, but I just want to hear already the first three witnesses who we have recommended be given immunity. We can discuss Marcelino perhaps on the last date of our hearing, Your Honor.
Okay, so,
for now, just to obviate further discussions, I withdraw my motion for the time being.
Thank you, Honorable
Chairman.
Roque. So we will no longer pursue.
Mr. Chairman.
Deputy Speaker.
Mr. Chairman, the question on whether or not immunity will be given to the witnesses who are going to be presented in today's hearing has consumed so much time.
I agree.
In fact, it has complicated our proceeding.
I
Why
agree.
don't we just, in deference to the Secretary of Justice, considering that he is the one responsible for the theory of his presentation, why don't we respect the position of the Secretary of Justice?
Better still, Deputy Speaker, what we may do is already initiate the process insofar as Durano and Arile is concerned. And so we can already obtain the necessary approvals for these two witnesses from the Speaker, and then we will go back to this Marcelino after Chairman Barbers would have received copy and would have gone through his testimony. Anyway, so the
Mr.
committee
Chair.
secretary is hereby directed to
Mr. Chair,
please...
point of clarification, Mr.
Sandali
Chair.
lang po, i-dispose ko lang po ito. No? The committee secretary is hereby directed to already proceed with the recommendation and the request for approval of the Speaker on two witnesses, Durano and Arile, as we further... Anyway, and then after that, we can already proceed with Sanchez, who is your first witness. Is that correct? Okay, so
Just a clarification, Mr. Chair.
Congressman Marcoleta, please.
Yes. Mr. Chair, I remember vividly last hearing about 2 weeks ago that the Justice Secretary already made the testimony that he has a strong case against Senator De Lima. As a matter of fact, I can recall that he said that the cases are airtight. Would you recall that, Mr. Secretary? You said that.
Yes, I think so, Mr. Chairman.
And so that gives me the feeling as to why are we presenting more evidence, and you're intending to present more witnesses in order to reinforce the airtight cases that you have already so far?
Actually, Your Honor, we are here upon the summons of the House Committee on Justice. So there's nothing to do with the case we are building up against Secretary de Lima and other persons.
That's the point, sir, because it seems to me that you have been overtaken by events. Baka maunahan ka pa nung abogado ni Sebastian. If we have a very airtight case against the senator, aren't we supposed to expect that a case should have been filed?
Actually, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman, hindi po ganun ang statement ko. Ang statement ko, and this was echoed by our Dean Ranhilio Aquino, who is sympathetic to Secretary de Lima, that insofar as the filing of a preliminary investigation or yung probable cause, sobra-sobra na ang probable cause ninyo. But that's not the way I handle my cases. I've been in practice for 44 years and I want, ang airtight na sinasabi ko, where I want to connect the different bank statements running to billions of pesos, up to 15 billion, para kaysa dun sa drug trade na yan.
Okay, may I just interrupt, no? Nalilihis tayo. We want to proceed and the committee members are waiting for the initial presentation of witness. Anyway, we will have time for all of these interpellations at the proper time. Meanwhile, can we now, the chair would like now to proceed with the object of this hearing, which is basically to hear the many witnesses that will be presented. No? So, as intimated by the good secretary, he will start with Jonel Sanchez, and then hopefully the two Dorano and Arile immunities would have been approved by the speaker, and then we will go through the orders in the course of of today's hearing. So, may we now request Mr. Secretary to now start with the presentation of Jonel Sanchez.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we would like to call inside the hearing room Mr. Jonel Sanchez.
And before we proceed, may I ask Mr. Secretary, what is the purpose of the presentation of the testimony of this particular witness?
We are presenting, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Jonel Sanchez to prove that he is a member of the Presidential Security Group, PSG, giving security to then Secretary de Lima, to prove that he has seen personally the two videos, 6 videos of Ronnie Sanchez, of Ronnie Dayan and Senator de Lima, that he accepted money from Renante Diaz. Those are principally the main points which we want to elicit from the witness, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. As we await for the entry of this particular witness, we would just like to acknowledge also the presence of Honorable Sabelliano, Honorable Crisologo. That's all. Welcome to
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, while waiting for the witness, I can see in the hall now the former Bucor director, in the person of General Bocayo. May I know if he is here upon invitation of the committee, either a formal invitation as resource speaker or through subpoena ad testificandum, so that in our interpellation letter, whether we can include him to answer some questions coming from the members of this committee, especially so that in the previous hearings, his name was always mentioned with those witnesses that have testified
Okay.
before.
He is here upon invitation. In fact, for clarity and transparency, he volunteered himself to appear so that he can make the necessary clarification and or clear his name on whatever his involvement or his participation in this particular incident in the New Bilibid prison. So he is here upon the invitation of the House of Representatives.
Your Honor, please. Your Honor, please. With respect to the testimony of Jonel Sanchez, from the statement of the Secretary, it appears that this is simply to support the alleged existence of a sex videotape. May we ask, therefore, is this tape really in existence?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. We have already ruled that out. We don't intend to even discuss that in this committee hearing. So we need to move on to the
What
next
is the
point.
purpose of this testimony of Jonel?
May I answer the good congressman? The
Okay.
testimony is to show the relationship between Ronnie Dayan and Secretary de Lima. Since we are
In a sex video?
in a sex video, 2 sex videos.
There you are.
We have ruled that out, Mr. Secretary.
Hindi naman,
If,
hindi
Mr.
naman-
Chairman,
hindi naman
if
po-
that is the line of the testimony, the defense
That's
evidence is the
paragraph
object
4.
evidence, Mr. Chairman. But since we cannot present the video, Mr. Chairman, I think
What other
Testimony
points
is
then
irrelevant.
would you like to establish minus the sex video
yung
through his testimony?
Mr. Chair, the best evidence whether or not we will allow Sanchez to be presented today is the sinumpaang salaysay. The sinumpaang salaysay says that there is a relationship between the Lima and this Dayan. How can we prove that Dayan is extracting and collecting money without a good relationship with the Lima? So kinakailangan itong testimony ni Sanchez. We are not talking about sex video here. We are talking about kung ano yung power at saka influence ni Dayan doon sa loob. And it came from the personal relationship with the Lima. So I think this Sanchez must be presented today.
For what purpose again?
Mr. Chairman,
How can
Mr. Chairman.
How
I
can there
agree.
be drug proliferation if indeed there is no relationship between Dayan and this Lima?
Okay, I
I
think
think there is wrong premise
that
there.
should answer the question. I hope it answers satisfactorily the query of the Congressman Rocamora. So, nandyan na ho ba yung witness? Okay, so may we go through the identification of the affidavit as we have done so in the past? Mr. Secretary, you're recognized.
Mr. Chairman, just we would like to ask whether Director sino yun? Si Bukayo would be excluded in the meantime from the court, from the hearing room, just like the other witnesses, or shall we allow him to stay?
I think that was clarified. He is not here as a witness but as a resource person. So the rules will not allow us to exclude him, Mr. Secretary.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So may we ask now that there will be an administration of oath to Mr. Sanchez and to the other resource persons present?
You are hereby directed to administer the oath.
Yung lahat ng resource persons.
Pakitayo po ang mga resource persons, including the persons called.
Ma'am, kindly identify and call the names of those persons. Baka meron diyang na-object namin na masali pa.
Okay. Please identify yourself first.
Ako po si Jonel Sanchez.
Jonel.
General Bucayo and Mr. Villasanta. Okay, please, General Villasanta, please raise your hands. I. Please state your name.
Jonel Sanchez.
Ma'am, excuse me, Mr. Chair. Kasali ba si Sir Villasanta doon sa legislative immunity?
Resource person.
Resource person. Okay, thank you.
Let us repeat. I. State your name.
Jonel Sanchez.
Swear to tell the truth.
Swear to tell the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing but the truth.
Nothing but truth.
In this investigation. So help me God.
So help me God.
Please.
Thank you for that, Comsec. Gentlemen, Secretary, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. May we call on Jonel Sanchez to state his name and other personal circumstances?
Ako po si Jonel Sanchez Tan. 40 gulang, Pilipino, may asawa, may 2 anak. At kasalukuyang nakatira sa Cluster 13, 3B, Madrigal, Compound, Malacanang Park, Manila.
May I proceed, Mr. Chairman? Mr. Jonel Sanchez, Itan.
Excuse me, Your Honors. Excuse me po. May I allow to speak? I'm Attorney Jen Louis Velandres, respectfully appearing as counsel for Jonel Sanchez, Your Honor.
Your role is just to advise witness of
His rights.
his rights. No?
Yes,
So,
Your
yun
Honor.
lang. So, papayagan ka lang namin magsalita.
Opo.
Para sabihan mo yung iyong kliyente, no? But not as a lawyer here for your to say whatever you want, no?
Opo,
Ganun lang.
Mr. Chairman. Ngunit maaari po bang mapagbigyan na magsalita tungkol lamang doon sa issue ng immunity?
I'm sorry, we would rather hear the witness than you. So anyway, similar to our previous procedure, we will ask na-identify na ho ba yung document?
Now only.
Sige, hindi pa?
May I proceed, yes. Opo.
Sige.
Excuse me, sir.
Ginoong...
Sir, kahit wala po akong immunity, nagsasabi lang po ng katotohanan dito ngayon.
Salamat.
And besides...
Chairman, Mr. Chairman, we are already in receipt of the 2 immunities granted by the Speaker. So kindly read into the record, please.
Anong is not...
Mr. Secretary.
May I continue, Mr. Chairman? Ginoong Jonel Sanchez, Itan, meron ka bang ginawang isang sinumpang salaysay?
Meron po, sir.
May 3 pahina.
Opo,
may
sir.
petsang September 30, 2016.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, may we request that this affidavit of... But first, I'm showing you, pinakikita ko sa iyo ang sinumpang salaysay na ito na may 3 pahina. Pakibasa mo nga at sabihin mo sa kagalang-galang na committee na kung ito yung sinasabi mong sinumpang salaysay na ginawa mo.
Ito po ang aking sinumpaang salaysay.
May we request, Your Honor, that the first page be marked as our Exhibit S. The second page as S-1, the third page as S-2, and the signatures of the witness appearing on the first page, second page, and third page be marked as Exhibit S-3, S-4, and the last page S-2-A. May we also request that the signature of the assisting counsel, Attorney Mario Dionisio Jr., be marked as Exhibit S-2-B, and the signature of the oath administering officer, Attorney Joel M. Tovera, as S-2-C. Mr. Sanchez, pinatutunayan mo ba na ang lahat ng nilalaman ng iyong sinampang salaysay na ito ay totoo?
Yes, sir.
Pinatutunayan mo ba na ikaw ay hindi pinilit, hindi binayaran, hindi pinangakuha ng kung anuman para gumawa ng salaysay na ito?
Yes,
At
sir.
ito ay voluntaryong iyong ginawa?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, the witness, I think, is ready for questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Witness, will you please read into the records your sinumpaang salaysay? Pakitayo lang, pakitayo. Tayo kayo. Mukhang mahirap daw sa mic. Pwede ka na umupo.
Mataas, sir.
Tangkad mo eh.
Ako si Jonel Sanchez Tan, 40 taong gulang, Pilipino, may asawa, 2 anak at kasalukuyang nakatira sa Cluster 13-3B, Madrigal Compound, Malacanang Park, Manila. Matapos makapanumpa ng ayon sa saligang batas ay nagsasaad ng mga sumusunod. Number 1, na ako po ay nakatalaga bilang area security ng Presidential Security Group PSG mula 1998 hanggang sa kasalukuyan. Noong July 2010, ako po ay na-detail bilang close-in security aide ni dating DOJ Secretary Laila de Lima. Hanggang May 2015, bilang close-in security ni SOJ de Lima, tungkulin ko po na pamangalagaan ang kanyang kaligtasan sa mga lakad niya at kung minsan naman po ako ang kanyang security aide kung saan ay kasama siya sa loob ng kanyang sasakyan upang tulungan siyang dalhin ang kanyang mga personal na gamit tulad ng bag, papeles, cellphone at makeup kit. Number 2 po, na ako at ang members ng security ay madalas nakasama ni SOJ de Lima tuwing siya po ay pumupunta sa Bilibid Prison NBP, kung saan siya rin po ang tumatayong direktor ng NBP habang wala pang itinatalagang permanenteng direktor noon. Nakita ko po na kinakausap niya ang mga commanders ng bawat pangkat upang pag-usapan ang mga issue sa loob ng Bilibid. Number 3 po, ang close-in security ni SOJ de Lima, pinamumunuan ni Mr. Ronnie Dayan na kung tawagin namin ay boss. Siya po ang nagbibigay sa amin ng instruction at orders galing kay SOJ de Lima. Siya rin ang nagbibigay ng weekly food allowance namin at monthly allowance. Maganda naman ang pakikitungo sa amin ni Mr. Ronnie Dayan. At naging ninong siya ng aking bunsong anak. Napansin ko lang na di pangkaraniwang pagkamalapit ni Ronnie Dayan at napansin ko lang ni SOJ de Lima at kalaunan na kumpirma ko na may relasyon ang dalawa dahil si Ronnie Dayan ay sa bahay ni SOJ natutulog. Maging sa mga out of towns na lakad namin, silang dalawa ay magkasama sa isang kwarto. Madalas din kaming pumupunta sa bahay ni SOJ de Lima sa Bicol at kapansin-pansin ang sweetness nila. Habang kami ay bumabiyahe papuntang probinsya, sila po ay nagsusubuan ng nilagang saging ng saba. Kami rin ay pumupunta sa bahay ni Ronnie Dayan sa Orbis Tondo, Pangasinan kasama ni SOJ de Lima At pag birthday ni Ronnie Dayan tuwing last week ng December ay pumupunta si SOJ de Lima at doon na nagpapaabot ng New Year. Sa tuwing kami ay mag-grocery, binibila ni SOJ de Lima si Ronnie Dayan ng paborito niyang pundador at Marlboro. Binibilan din ni SOJ de Lima si Ronnie Dayan ng barong, sapatos at mga personal na gamit hanggang tahasan ng ipinagyayabang ni Ronnie Dayan ang relasyon nila ni Secretary de Lima. Number 4 po. Noong taong 2012, habang kami ay nasa Malacanang compound, ako po ay nagulat sa aking nakita. Habang kami po ay nakapark, ako ay tinawag ni Bantam, driver ni SOJ de Lima. Habang hawak-hawak niya ang cellphone ni Ronnie Dayan na naiwan sa loob ng sasakyan, nagulat po ako nang ipinakita ni Bantam sa akin ang video ni SOJ de Lima at Ronnie na may dalawang sex video. Ang isang video ay nagpupusing si SOJ malapit sa shower room na hubad-hubad. At ang isa namang video ay nag-BBJ si SOJ de Lima kay Ronnie Dayan. Nailang po ako sa aking nakita at hindi ko na tinapos panoorin. Naging biruan na lang namin ang nasabing video. Number 5 po. Na noong November 2013 ay nagpasama sa akin si P.O. Third Mercado kasama ko sa PSG upang dalawin ang tatay niya na nakakulong sa NBP na si Tatay Victor Mercado. Nakikiusap sa akin si Tatay Victor Mercado na tulungan ko siyang ilapit kay SOJ de Lima ang maaga niyang paglaya. Lumapit din sa akin ang ibang inmates para magpaabot ng kanilang mga hinaing sa loob ng maximum. Sinabi ko sa kanila na gumawa ng sulat at ipaabot ko kay SOJ de Lima. Paminsan-minsan naman ay sinasamahan ko si Janie, pinsan ng asawa ko, para dalawin sa NBP si Don Bugo na asawa niya. Noong October, number 6 po, noong October 2014 ay nakilala ko si Mr. Renanti Diaz na ipinakilala sa akin ni Tatay Victor Mercado. Si Renanti Diaz ay tumatayong manager ni Herbert Colanco. Nakalaunan ay nakikisuyo sa akin na magparating ng mga letter request ni Herbert Colanco kay SOJ de Lima at kung minsan naman ay nakikisuyo sa akin na nasamahan para magdala ng invitation kay SOJ de Lima para sa concert ni Herbert Colanco. Kaming dalawa ni Renanti Diaz ay naging malapit, kaya paminsan-minsan ay lumalambing ako sa kanya ng pera, katulad ng birthday ko, Pasko at for the boys. Pinapadala ni Renanti Diaz ang pera sa money carrier. Sa 3 pagkakataon na nagpadala ng pera sa akin si Renanti Diaz ng buong halaga ay 15,000 pesos. Maliban doon ay wala na akong tinanggap o hininging pera kay Renanti Diaz. Number 7 po. Na noong first quarter ng 2015 ay nadagdag sa tropa namin bilang security ni SOJ na si Warren Cristobal galing sa MMD Riders. Ang pagdating ni Warren Cristobal ay naging banta kay Ronnie Dayan na siyang pinagmulan ng alitan nila ni SOJ de Lima. Pinagsisilosan ni Ronnie Dayan si Warren Cristobal noong March 2015 ay tuluyan ng tinanggal ni SOJ si Ronnie Dayan dahil hindi pagkakaunawaan tungkol kay Warren Cristobal. Mula noon ay si Warren Cristobal na ang tumatayong security aid at driver ni SOJ. Sa kanya na rin kami tumatanggap ng instruction or orders mula kay SOJ. Kapansin-pansin din ang closeness ni Warren Cristobal at SOJ kung kaya't nagdududa na kami na may special na relasyon ang dalawa. Napansin ko rin noong nag-target shooting kami kasama si SOJ de Lima at Warren Cristobal ay biniro ni SOJ de Lima si Warren kung type niya daw ang baril ni SOJ na STI, isang mamahaling baril. Nagtaka na lang kami kinabukasan dahil ipinakita sa akin ni Warren Cristobal ang baril ni SOJ de Lima na nakasukbit sa baywang niya. Napag-alaman ko na inilipat na ni Warren ang baril ni SOJ sa pangalan niya. Number 8 po. Noong huling linggo ng March 2015, ako po ay nag-file ng leave at namalagi sa Pampanga upang magbakasyon. at makasama ang pamilya ko. Noong unang linggo, May 2015, ako'y bumalik sa trabaho at nag-report kay SOJ de Lima. Makalipas ng 3 araw, ay sinugod namin ang tatay ko sa ospital dahil sa atake sa puso. Humingi ako ng tulong kay SOJ, ngunit hindi niya ako tinulungan, kaya gumawa ako ng paraan at lumapit kay Associate Commissioner Repiso ng Bureau of Immigration. Ako ay kanya namang ni-repair kay Governor Umali ng Mindoro kung saan ang asawa niya ay chief nurse ng Heart Center. Ito po ay ikinagalit sa akin ni SOJ de Lima na siyang itinatanggal ko bilang close-in security. Noong banding yon, ako ay binalik sa PSG kung saan ako ay nag-duty bilang area security ni Pinoy. Number 9 po. Ito po ang aking kusang loob na salaysay upang linisin ang aking pangalan na nadadawit sa investigasyon tungkol sa kalakalan ng illegal na droga sa loob ng National Bilibid Prison. Hindi po ako tinakot, pinilit o pinangakuan ng kahit anumang pabuya para gawing salaysay na ito. Pinatutunayan ko din ang salaysay na ito ay pawang katotohanan lamang.
Marami pong tapos na po kayo?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Mr. Secretary, we are now ready to hear the next witness dahil dumating na po yung immunity nila, si Durano po. So we will hold in abeyance yung like in the previous hearings we conducted. Pagsasabay-sabayin po natin ang interpellation question sa kanya. So meanwhile, iatid muna siya sa holding area as we usher in our next witness who is going by the name of Durano.
Opo. Ang ibig po ba sabihin ay silang yung mga witnesses na mga na dinala ng DOJ ay hahanay dito. At
Mamaya pagkatapos po
lahat
ng
sila.
makapagsalita na po lahat, including si General Bucayo at General Villasanta.
Opo. So we are now calling on Engelberto Durano to identify his statement.
Minority Leader.
Mr. Chairman, during the previous hearing, I raised the question about a certain telephone conversation wherein I asked the good secretary to summon a certain record from Globe Telecom regarding a conversation. Is this the same person that we pertain to, Mr. Chairman?
Actually, to my understanding, yes. Yan po yung parang ang testimonya po ay ni Kulango ay binigay sa kanya nitong si Sanchez yung telepono at kung saan nakausap niyan diretso si Secretary de Lima. So yan po yun sa akin pong pagkakaalala.
Mr. Chairman, baka po ang nire-refer niya yung pag-uusap ni Golangco at saka ni Secretary de Lima. So we could try to we'll check the transcript and see, we recommend on whom to subpoena for the next hearing.
Hindi naman ho kailangan yon. Ang hinihingi lang po yung telephone number. Dito sa witness na ito, kinuha nyo ba yung telephone number niya na kung saan nung mga panahon na yon ay ginamit para makausap mismo ni Kulango si Senator de Lima?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, ang punto na gusto lang ho namin ma-establish, kung totoo, kasi ang sinabi po niya, nag-usap sa telepono, na-identify po natin yung globe number na kausap niya, at ang hiningi po namin sa inyo ay kunin yung numero ng kausap. At humingi po kami sa inyo na bigyan nyo ng kapahintulutan ang globe na i-ratify o sabihin na talagang nung oras na yon, January of 2015, ay nangyari yung conversation. Relevant lang ho sa amin yon para mapatunayan natin yung testimony na talagang nung oras na yon, yung sinumpaang salaysay ay nangyari because of the telephone conversation.
Mr. Chairman, tama po si Minority Floor Leader. Hindi pa po namin nakukuha yon, and it's very material, and so we are going to make the necessary inquiry. Thank you.
Nandyan na ho ba si Durano? Wala pa?
Witness Durano, can we ask a question to the Bucor? Just to satisfy this question is actually raised by the members of the minority. Ilang beses po silang nag-conduct ng concert sa Muntinlupa?
Your Honor, sa aking pong pagkakaalam, sa panahon ko po ay wala po. Dahil meron hong kasing directly in charge. Ang NBP ho ay isa sa mga kolonya ng Bucor. Ako po ay director. Sa ilalim ko ho ay meron pang 7 kolonya, and one of this is NBP. Meron hong superintendent na nagmamanage ng NBP directly.
Okay, may I just interrupt, Minority Leader? Nandiyan na po yata yung witness. Anyway, General Bucayo will have his time after the presentation of the other witnesses. So again, Mr. Secretary, we are ready with our